Have you ever seen the little people living in the water? They are nimble and often use crab claws as weapons to capture small fish and shrimp for food. But in reality, life is harsh. The peaceful and happy life is nothing but an illusion. They must face many large predators. Originally, they had a large family with many brothers and sisters, but a tragedy struck. Dozens of their siblings were killed, leaving only Ellie and Jim, the youngest children of the family. Their mother, in order to ensure the family's continuation, went alone to the shallow waters to give birth, leaving only the father and the two children. The father would teach them hunting skills. Today, the siblings caught a lot of fish and shrimp. Ellie wanted to go back and share the catch with her mother, but suddenly remembered that her mother had left, and it was uncertain whether she would return alive. That night, Ellie dreamed of her mother. Missing her mother so much, Ellie couldn't sleep anymore, so she decided to go outside to clear her mind. Not long after, the father returned home. Jim was very happy to see that his father wasn't injured, but the father didn't see Ellie, and Jim became worried. A storm was coming, and they had to find Ellie quickly. On the other side, Ellie was clinging tightly to a branch, trying to prevent herself from being swept away by the current. She tried to grab some water plants, but they were out of reach. Just then, her father and Jim arrived. There was no time to hesitate, and the father used his crab claws to grab the branch and hurriedly rescued Ellie. Luckily, they arrived just in time. To the father, the two children were his only hope, but in the next moment, he sensed danger. Before he could react, he was swept away by the flood. The next day, the waters calmed. Ellie squatted on the ground, in pain, thinking it was her fault that her father was lost. However, Jim didn't give up hope. He followed the downstream direction, believing that his father was still alive. Wiping away his tears, Jim tried to persuade Ellie to search with him, but no matter how Jim tried to convince her, Ellie refused to go. Ellie was consumed by guilt, and soon, Jim cried as well. He knew that from now on, it would only be the two of them. For the first time, the siblings embarked on a journey. Before a murky water area, Jim stopped. His intuition told him that it would be dangerous ahead, so he quickly pulled Ellie away. Indeed, there was a large fish lurking ahead. Jim decided they couldn't stay in the water any longer and had to get to shore. Once they climbed onto the rocks, they were exhausted. Jim stared at the stream, wondering how to get across. Before he could think of a solution, Ellie suddenly knocked him down. It turned out that a few raccoons had passed by. If they hadn't moved, they might have been crushed. Fortunately, the rest of the journey went smoothly without further troubles. However, when they passed a pond, Ellie suddenly jumped in. Jim didn't know what to do, but to his surprise, Ellie surfaced holding insect wings. Jim immediately understood and jumped in too. These objects must have been carried by the water flow last night. This could help them find their father. The two immediately swam deeper into the water. They soon found their father's broken crab claw. Their father, badly injured, was breathing from a gap not far away. But when he saw the siblings, he told them not to approach. The siblings then noticed a large fish hiding behind the rocks. Their father wanted to help, but he was too injured to move. The siblings froze in fear. Unexpectedly, the large fish didn't attack them. Jim noticed the fish's menacing gaze and used his crab claw as bait, tossing it out. The fish took the bait, and Jim seized the opportunity to pull Ellie away. However, the fish chased after them. Finally, they leapt into their father's arms, believing they were going to die. But to their surprise, a bird swooped down and grabbed the large fish in its beak. The three of them were finally safe. Time passed, and they returned to their original home. To their surprise, their mother had also returned, bringing 5 younger siblings with her. Jim rushed over to greet her. When their mother saw the crack in Jim's crab claw and the injuries on their father, she listened to Ellie's description. Jim felt proud, but only the mother knew how much their children had suffered. In the embrace of their mother, Jim couldn't hold back his tears and finally cried. As the younger siblings grew, Jim and Ellie decided to leave their home and embark on an unknown journey.